you're always evolving and developing, and it should be like that. But hopefully you're always moving to a particular goal, for everybody, and taking them all there with you. Your students. Somebody else want to share? Great.
Oh, that was amazing.
When we talk like this, it helps me figure out exactly what to give you next, like where you are ready. And I'm like, okay, great, that just happened. That just happened, Jane shared. Chrissy's, I'm like, okay, exactly. I reviewed it last week. I'm like, oh, I think they might be. And we just confirmed it, like, perfect. Where did it lead you next?
I would say what I learned on this week was having a practice every day no matter what.
Yeah,
whether it was 5:30 in the morning or 11:30 at night, it happened.
Here you go.
I was so excited, and so that was funny because I was so excited about it, and actually, like, every meditation was sort of terrible. It was really hard to focus because it was not necessarily an ideal time, but I did it.
That's great.
And that alone was really exciting.
And it's huge. We generally will say there's no such thing as a bad meditation. Mm-hmm. Just because everyone gets up, they feel like, oh, I don't know how to do this, and they're going to do this. And that's not the only way to the goal. It's like, right, I sat. It wasn't go perfect, but I sat and I did it. Like, you always want to celebrate just the fact that you sat. Like, don't ever knock it. Like, oh, if you can improve something, go ahead. That's not what I'm saying. But you always want to condition yourself to, like, yeah, that's great, but I sat. Like, you just want to focus. I know it's like positivity, but that's the juice that keeps getting you through to where you have to go. And when you don't feel like sitting and you do sit, it has the biggest impact in your practice. Because it's not always, it is the ones that you're making progress and you're learning, but it's that habit that's developing that matters so much more when you're developing your practice. Just the fact that you sit, it's huge. And so don't feel like, oh, you have to judge your practice. Like, no, you don't. You just celebrate the fact that you are. And it gets more and more familiar to you, that space. Now we're finding a language and vocabulary to take a look at that space. And it's easy with asana because you can see your improvement. You can feel where you're getting strong. You can see where you're not. And it's harder up there. It's like, what's going on up there? But slowly, the more time you spend up there, the more that mind field starts to get familiar, very familiar. And it's subtle, the changes that you have to make to progress in your meditation practice, which we'll talk more about this weekend. But you have to spend the time in order to know what to do. Like, I'll talk about it, it's good to hear it, but unless you're meditating, you won't really know how to take that into application. But just having a language now starts to get you closer to it, that you move in that direction.
More shares? I noticed that I became a lot more sensitive to my mind and to the way I feel. And like things that didn't bother me before, like now I'm actually a lot more sensitive, and I'm like, oh my god, like my monkey mind is so chatty,
Awesome. Yeah. Also, like, generally you just glance at it on the surface, looks like. And then two, you are getting more sensitive. And you have to, it means you're more present. You're noticing it, just like flying over something. You're actually seeing it, processing it, experiencing it. That's great.
I wanted, after last weekend, when I was meditating, it was harder for me. I didn't have like a positive after experience.
Yeah.
It almost felt like I get out of the meditation and I physically would be panting, but I felt my body was like, just because I like being aware, and this isn't a bad thing overall, it was just like hard in the moment. I'm sure with more practice it will be better and more balance. But it sort of felt like all the things that I learned and now I have words for, and like recognizing them more sharply and then being like, come back. Oh, you need to find a balance between hearing that word outside and concentrating on this thing that you're concentrating on. Oh, you need to not lose it. And just like all these things, like come out and do this. It's like walking a tightrope.
It's like, well, it is very much like walking a tightrope. And it can be enjoyable. And it's kind of like something like if you were not doing asana and then you came and you went hard. You know, every class that you went in the beginning, you just pushed in, tried to apply everything. It might be too much initially, but I'm so glad that you took it all those directions and tried to apply them right away. Like that's better because they'll stick more. But slowly, if you stay with it, you won't try and apply them all at the same time. You know, you kind of sit through and like, okay, here, stay away, just stay away. You learn how to apply the bits and pieces on a day-to-day basis. I'm glad it was hard because you were working. That's awesome. Like you actually have tools to like go in there. And I wouldn't do maybe too long, maybe like, maybe do short ones. Like you wouldn't torture yourself through a half hour of just torture, maybe like 5 minutes or 10 minutes. And then like ease up. Just get in there, maybe take a break if you want to sit longer. If you're enjoying it, go ahead and stay longer. Actually, I usually will tell myself you can meditate this long and not longer. Initially, because I want to do more. And I'm like, you have to earn that, what I really want to do. Because it builds up my anticipation to like get there. Yeah, so don't burn out, like burn yourself out, let it be like fun and new.
And Chef, one thing that I noticed, and I didn't notice before, is that like
It gets like this. Your practice starts to get like, like your discovery is happening. Oh, okay, I got that. Oh, I fell asleep, but that's what falling asleep looks like. Like you actually see that. Oh, that's what it is. But you're catching it, you're seeing it.
so that the worst distractions are the sweetest ones. It's like I'll see the most perfect moment, or like a sweet teacher, and like a sweet moment. No, go back. It's grab is your object.
Yeah, exactly, right. When you pick your object, that's your object. Even if it's something positive, you gotta come back to that. That's great. Awesome.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Because usually when we hear the birds in the morning, I'm like, okay, thank you for being so sweet. And then I come back, and I didn't think of it as a distraction until last week when you were like, it's tricky, it's like a little kid, and I'm like, it's tricky.
Yeah, so this is great. Just that you're making the discoveries, like you did so much discovery in there. So much discovery. And it's so cool. I mean, just to see it over time, over now and year and 2 years, and like see what that looks like, and then start to read what's going on in there. It's fascinating, and that's the thing that's making you up. Making up your whole world. Like it's running on automatic. And now you're getting into the mechanisms. Like, wait a minute, do I like what's on automatic? It's like, what's It's like the king and the queen finally come home after like being away for years. And like, hey, what's going on in this kingdom? Who's running what? Like, who's in charge of this? You start to like put in order, but you want to get familiar. You don't want to just start implementing rules and changes. You kind of have to get in there and see what's going on before you know exactly where you want to move and shift and do. And that might take a little while, but I love it. I'm so happy. Yeah, it was a good time for a Hector to come in. There's so much more that you can start to add. The classes that they do at Tuesdays and Thursday nights, I guess they're doing it there. It's all information to help you refine what's going on up there, to help you get the words and understand it. And it's a new vocabulary, it's a new angle, it's a new method. There's so many terms and things, like don't let it phase you, like, oh my God, man, just let it know, oh, this will help, and slowly start to seep in and give you the tools to navigate. Really fine, really, really fine. And what it's getting you to be a neurosurgeon. In your brain, your very makeup of your brain and nerves and the most subtle stuff of what's happening, getting you to have a scalpel so fine to work in there. And you want to do that, it's yours. what's finally at the root of your existence. You're like dealing with that stuff, and it feels good. And it's hard. It's a lot of hard work, but at least you're working in a place that's useful. At least you're doing the work that's useful. You got to do work anyway. At least you know that those efforts that you're doing are the ones most worthwhile. And if you stick with it, it's not unachievable or ridiculously unachievable. That's what's so crazy. It's not. You just have to stay with it long enough to get at it. And I think that's where people don't make it like a priority or the importance of it. That's why they don't find out or make those discoveries. But it is pretty freaking phenomenal to actually go at that, hear that, and develop the tools to get there. It's all that. It is all that. And it's so fulfilling to touch it and like, oh, that's what that makes me up. And like, damn. Like it's pretty magnificent. So I'd say it's worth it. And it can take years. Guess what I would say it took like the amount of time it takes to become a concert pianist. I think I said, not even a really good one. But you kind of have to learn that much to be able to navigate and get at it. It doesn't mean you necessarily have to stop everything else that you're doing. Actually, what you're doing can become part of your path. But just until you learn the terms, right? It's that first level of the path of accumulation, like hearing enough, and then learning how to use what you're hearing in practice, and then going off. But it's made to serve you entirely in the highest goals of existence itself, serving other people. Like it's beautiful. It's not inseparable from what's most beautiful and dear that we all have like some taste or instinct or intuition about. It's nothing less than that beauty. It's nothing less than not being separated from that, but knowing it so, like it's right here our whole life, but we've never contacted it. It's making that contact and interaction, and it's nothing less than that. And magnificence. Yeah. So thanks for the work, lady. We'll go more into it.
Okay, let's come into a circle closer. You can grab your manuals if you need the Gayatri mantra words on page 143. Close your door, please.
When we chant these mantras, it's meant to move us from the place of our head, the logical thinking mind, and into the intuitive mind, the heart mind, one that is of experience, of practice. And with all of this that you're learning, it's important to remember that it's not much that you can analyze and work out with your thinking mind. It's something that you have to feel, something you have to do for yourself and let it work on you. So transition back to our mat. And we can come into Asana child's pose. Keep your head on the ground and your arms outstretched in front of you. Start to feel your hands on the floor. Let's make our arms active. So stretch your fingers forward. Your elbows should not be resting on the mat. You should start to feel that outward external rotation on the tops of your arms. Press your fingers into the ground. Just give yourself a moment to connect with your intention. As you move more deeply towards a daily practice, a continuous practice without gaps, you may find that you're working with one specific intention for a period of time. Practice becomes more effective when you really identify what it is that you're working, continuously move toward that over and over every time you come to your mat, every time you sit on your cushion, and eventually every moment throughout your daily life. Press up to downward facing dog. Feel your hands on the ground and lose that connection. Start to move your body however you feel like you need to. Walk your hands back toward your feet. Come to Uttanasana at the back of your mat. Let your arms be heavy. Hold on to opposite elbows. Let your spine really move from your golden pelvis toward the head. Let your body move like a pendulum, letting your hips loosen and let your knees bend. Start to feel different parts of your hamstrings getting more pliable. And then walk your hands all the way forward, come to plank pose, upward push-up position. Stack your shoulders right over your wrists. Make sure your hips are in line with your shoulders. Hand lower your hips, just below your hips. Touch out through your heels. And then bend your knees, curl your spine, and move backwards, downward facing dog. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Keep coming back to the foundation, what's connected to the ground, how it's supporting you. Raise your right leg on an inhale to the sky. Be careful of the wall behind you. Point your toe, flex your toe, move your ankle around in a circle in both directions. And then breathe in deeply as you exhale. Bring your knee to your chest. Bring your weight over your hands like plank. Good. Inhale, send the leg up and back behind you. Exhale, cross right knee to left elbow. Good. Inhale, send the leg up and back. Your leg off. Exhale, bring the knee to the same armpit. Far up on your arm if you can get it. Yep. Inhale, send the leg up and back. And exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, curl from the lower spine to upper spine to plank pose. Let your whole spine roll out. On your exhale, lower knees, chest and chin to the floor. Good. Inhale, come forward to cobra. Let yourself stretch up a bit. And then exhale, back down, send your hips back to bent knees, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Breathe here. Make sure your fingers are spread, your palms are wide. On your inhale, raise the left leg. Good. Point your toe, flex your toe, move your ankle around. Beautiful. Breathe in. And then as you exhale, knee to chest. Inhale, send the leg up and back. Exhale, cross your body. And Natasha, don't lift your hip when you send your legs up and back on the inhale. Good. Exhale, bring the leg forward to the opposite armpit. Same armpit. Yeah. Good. Inhale, send the leg up and back. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a slow walk forward. Uttanasana, the front. You can let your knees continue to bend or perhaps start to straighten your legs. Feel yourself tip from the bowl of your pelvis though, and if you don't feel that happening, then keep the knees bent until you can feel that hip crease as the initiation of your forward fold. Breathing in, breathing out, bend the knees, roll yourself all the way up to stand and Tadasana, mountain pose. On your inhale, reach your arms up, hook your thumbs, arch back. On your exhale, fold forward, clasp your hands behind your back, and take the clasp of your hands over your head, over through your shoulders. Press the heels of your hands together. Try to straighten your wrists. Beautiful. On the inhale, bend your knees, unclasp the hands into the Asana, upward chair pose. Reach the arms up. Beautiful. On your exhale, twist to the right. Keep the legs like one unit. Right, all moving together, and then the entire body helping the other parts of the body to move more deeply into the posture. Pressing arm into leg, hand to hand. Peeling your chest open towards the sun of the room, but not losing the strong base of support in the legs. Keep breathing. Good. On your inhale, come back to center, Uttanasana. And on the exhale, twist to the left. And every exhale, so you can get more weight into your legs, into the seat. And on your inhale, extend your spine, lengthen up. Twist. Good. On your inhale, come back to center, sit. And then exhale, fold. Lift your hips, lengthen your legs, let your head be heavy. On the inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. On the exhale, jump or step back, Chaturanga. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale, Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Keep your breath long and steady, moving through the body. Using it as a tool to explore what's the state of your physical being today. On your exhale, bend your knees, look forward, look where you're going, and inhale, hop forward, extend your spine, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold Uttanasana. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. And on your exhale, right back down to Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up, lengthen your spine. Exhale, plank chaturanga, knees touch chin. Inhale, upward dog, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Open your heart, spin your upper arms back. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe. Keep coming back to your breath. Each time you find downward facing dog, like coming home. Feel your hands, feel your feet, feel the sides of your body and your spine lengthen. Keep breathing long and steady Ujjayi breath. On the exhale, bend the knees. Inhale, hop your feet forward, extend your spine long. Exhale, fold into yourself. Inhale, all the way up, arms up. Right back down, Uttanasana. Use your breath. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Coming back to the breath. And at the bottom of the next exhale, bend the knees. Inhale, propels you forward, lengthen forward. Exhale, fold all the air out. Inhale, rise up, Urdhva Hastasana. Beautiful. Cross the right foot in front, take hold of the right wrist. Reach up through to the left side. Pressing the right foot down and lifting the right wrist up. Breathe. Look up to the inner elbow. Come back to center. Reach across your feet. And over to the opposite side. Using your hand on your wrist to manually extend and lengthen the side body. to the inner crease of the elbow. Good. Come back to center. Kali Mudra, point the index finger up, clasp the rest of the fingers together. Press your feet down, send your hips forward, start to arch back. Keep lifting your spine out of the bowl of the hips. Don't crunch the low back. Keep your feet and legs strong. Just come to stand. Let your arms come in front of you like you're telling someone to stop. Okay, now just imagine you're pressing your hands into a wall. Try to get your fingers completely flat, not hyperextended so they're not curling back. Press through the heel of your palm. Spread all of your fingers as wide as you can. Good. Now turn the fingers so that they're facing the floor. Try not to let your wrists rotate in any direction. Try to keep all the fingers flat too. So just go slowly back and forth like that a few times. Trying to keep all of your fingers perfectly aligned like they're flat against the wall. Right? And then just going very slowly, not letting the wrists turn at all as you bring the fingertips to face the floor. A couple more times. Warming up the wrist. And when you bring your hands to face up, then make a fist with the thumb outside of the fingertips and curl the fist like you're trying to touch your fingertips to the inner wrist. Right? Try to keep your hands, your wrists parallel to the floor. Yeah, don't tick-tock the wrist in or out, just keep them completely parallel to the floor. Curl it in as much as you can and feel the subtle opening of the muscles of the wrist. Just release that, come to Tadasana, mountain pose. Inhale, Utkatasana, sit low, do a few sun salutation V. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, step or hop back, tuck it on the chin. Inhale, upward facing dog, Urdhva Mukha. Exhale, back, downward dog, Adho Mukha. Inhale, right foot forward, warrior one. Reach your arms up, make sure the weight is in the back foot. Good. Exhale, bring the hands down, step back, lower chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left foot forward, Virabhadrasana one. Use the power of the back leg to send you up. Exhale, come back down to the floor, lower. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe. Try to slowly cycle your breath. On your exhale, bend your knees. Now inhale, float forward, extend your spine. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, Utkatasana. Take the weight into the bottom part of your body. Each exhale, lower your weight a little bit more. Each inhale, lift your chest. Keep the breath long and steady. Exhale, fold over your legs. Inhale, lengthen, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, all the way back, Chaturanga, Dandasana. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, right foot forward, warrior one. Press the back leg, make sure the hips are pointing forward. Then exhale, all the way down, step back, lower. Left foot forward, warrior one, all the way up. Exhale to the floor. Halfway down into Yoga. Inhale, upward facing dog, trying your heart forward. Exhale, back down to dog. Breathe. Breathe in. Breathe on the inhale, hop forward to the belly. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bend the knees, lift the heart. Few breaths here, just getting into the legs. Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha. Long back to the mat, weight drops down, center and drop to the lower. Focal point, the pelvis. Feel all of the energy drawing in towards the pelvis and then radiating out in all directions, first to the floor and then to the sky. Exhale, fold. Inhale, Ardha. Exhale, just step your right foot back, way back. Bring the knee down onto the mat. Yes, and then just maybe tiptoe the front foot forward, untuck the back toe, let the top of the foot come on the mat. On the inhale, hook the thumbs, reach the arms up, Anjaneyasana. Let the hips sink forward, but don't lose the buoyancy in the pelvic floor. So as you're opening your hips, also keep the authenticity of the lower lock, the lower arm. Take your arms alongside your ears and send your heart forward as you arch back. And exhale, bring the hands to the floor. Step back to downward facing dog. Inhale, raise the right leg into the air. Now we'll walk the hands back to move into standing split. Try to keep the hips in line, right? You can use the wall, that's perfect. Right? Try not to lift through the right hip. Keep it in line with the left hip. Yes, you need this slightly down with the right hip. Yeah, nice, Leah. You can get closer to the wall and let the wall help you move a bit more deeply into standing split. And you can play with perhaps taking one hand away from the floor onto the ankle. Maybe both hands go onto the ankle. Okay, just judge if you're using the wall too much. It might be difficult to try to balance it as well. So use what you can, what makes sense. Good, now walk your hands forward, come back to downward facing dog. Inhale, forward to plank pose. Exhale, lower your version, chaturanga or some other option. Inhale, upward facing dog, maybe cobra. Exhale, back down. Breathing in, breathing out. Keep your heart with your eyes. Or back. Really good at eyes. Keep the arch center, chest back. On the exhale, bend the knees. Inhale, hop forward. Step your spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, Uttanasana. Stand tall, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, step the left leg back. Take the knee to the floor. And then just let yourself move deeply into Anjaneyasana. Yes, Natasha's folding her blanket mat over. We need extra pad with your knee. That's a nice way to take care of yourself. Yeah, cookie thumbs. Don't lose the integrity of Mulabandha as you let your hips descend forward and down. Lift your heart. Feel stretch in the lower back. Bring the hands down, step back, and down between the palms. Inhale and raise the left leg up. Steer your hips so that they're level, and then walk back towards the wall. Yeah, let your head drop down like Uttanasana. Find that pelvic tilt that allows you to open yourself more. Maybe play with the balance, holding on to one hand onto an ankle, or maybe two hands. Keep breathing. Walk your hands forward, back and down, facing down. Inhale, forward plank. Exhale, lowering, step it up with knees, chest, chin. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. And let's go for Balasana, child's pose. Bring your hands together in front of your head, setting up for Shirshasana headstand. Your hair, however you need. And just a couple of options here. You can turn to face the wall if you'd like. You can also use a blanket for a bit of an extra cushion. Just open it up so it's not too thick. Like to take your hands together underneath the blanket, and then the blanket creates a nest for your head. So you can try this. Check into, make sure the blanket doesn't blind you. In your headstand, you really want to push your wrists into the ground, your forearms into the ground. Try to level your wrists and use the intelligence of your wrists to steer you mindfully while you're up in the posture. Try to bring your heels a little bit higher, back a little bit more. Yeah, press your elbows down. Use the strength of your arms and your shoulders. Shashabandha and Uddiyana are very helpful for this pose. And Natasha, you want to activate your core, draw your your frontal ribs in. Yeah, that'll give you more strength to actually move away from the wall. Maybe one leg at a time moves away from the wall. Good. Yeah, keep breathing. Yeah, that's nice. 1 foot at a time. Check that out. If you're adept at your headstand, try to pike down with straight legs. So your hips will move towards the back of your head. Yeah, good, Hannah. Nice and slow and controlled. Yeah, good. Nice. All right, everyone come down into Balasana, child's pose. up to sit. Face the center of the room. Extend your legs out in front. Asana. Let's take our hands in front again. Turn your wrists to the floor and just take one hand and open up the top of the floor. And then you take it the other way, giving it a little bit of help. Try to keep the wrist crease parallel with the floor. This side. Try to keep your hand flat, so don't curl through your knuckles. Try to see where you can feel this move through your arm. Okay? Fingers up, pull back. Alright, hands to the floor behind you, forward Asana. Fingertips facing your seat. Bend your elbows, lift your chest, press your heels down, lift your hips up. Keep lifting the hips. Point your toes, press the tops of your feet toward the floor. Now I'm going to point your toes, try to get your toes to touch the floor. And breathe. On your exhale, coming out of the posture. Good. Step back to downward facing dog. We'll set up for dolphin. So bend both elbows and come onto your forearms. Now get as far forward on your mat as you can because we're going to walk our legs back to forearm plank. And then just do a few slow walks, walking your feet back, coming into forearm plank. And as you breathe in, walk your feet forward, find dolphin again. A few more times. On your exhale, walking back, finding that plank on your forearm. On the inhale, walking forward, finding dolphin pose. Try to make your forearms parallel. Right? Elbows slightly closer together than you think. Okay, it's tough, so just give yourself the breath and the time. Everyone, let's meet in forearm plank now. And then let your hips come down to the mat. We'll set up for Pinchamayur Asana forearm stand. You can use the wall if you need. Right? If you like, you can use a block just to place between your fingertips. It's not like your thumb and it's not like your thumb and your index finger in this corner. It's like you don't really want that L shape between your thumb and your index finger. So it's more like a smaller angle, not a right angle. You may need a block and then another block on its higher side for a little bit wider. So you play with that. You can also try forearm stand with your hands together, but give it a shot with both variations in the arms. You're spotting the floor between your hands, right? You don't look back, you look towards the floor. You can start just walking your toes as far forward as you can and lifting your hips up, coming into a very short downward facing dog. Again, keep bringing your awareness to what's touching the floor. Yeah, change those fingertips are too wide apart. So you should scoot your hand back a little bit. Yeah. Like that. It's really for measurement. Once you're up, see if you can just stabilize your breath and stay up for a few breaths. Right, each time letting yourself get more air. The feeling of staying in your inversions longer and longer. Jess, can you do a split from there, baby? Keep one foot on the wall. You're just a little far from the wall. If you go closer, you won't have that much of an arch in your back. When you've tried about 5 times or so, then just come into Balasana Child's Pose. Bring your hands in a prayer behind your head. Press your elbows forward, your elbows towards your arms. Just don't bring them close to tightly. Your shoulder your ears once you go
What keeps me tied to the core of the room? What keeps me tied? What keeps me tied to the core? What keeps me tied?
Alright, coming down into child's pose. You're not already there. Letting your breath move all the way up, and then rolling yourself up to sit. Turn to face the center of the room, and we'll go for So take your left foot towards your right foot, and your right foot on the outside of your left thigh. You can either hug your right arm or your right leg with your left arm, or you can cross it. Both is fine too. On your inhale, stand nice and tall. And on your exhale, begin to twist into the posture. Each breath in, feeling your spine become more spacious. Each breath out, moving into the space of your posture, to the deepness of your twist, the depth of your twist. Exhale, come back to center. Switch your legs. Just give yourself a moment. Feel your sitting bones on the floor. Feel your spine nice and long. Set your arms and begin to move into Matsya Asana. Spinal Each breath in, more length, more space. Each breath out, deepening. Breathing in, exhale, releasing. We'll go for legs up the wall. Grab a blanket, fold it so it's a long, chunky rectangle like this. Okay, you're going to place that on the floor near the wall. Okay, you can also use blocks if you want to be a little bit more lifted underneath your pelvis, a little bit more back bend for Viparita Karani. I like to come to lie on the side of my body so that I can roll exactly where I want my hips to go. Okay, the closer your hips are to the wall, the more opening you'll feel in the backs of your legs. Keep yourself where you need to go. Now make robot arms with your fingertips pointing up toward the sky, the backs of your arms on the ground. So your elbows are bent with your biceps alongside your body, and your fingertips are pointing in the air towards the ceiling, not towards the wall behind you, towards the ceiling. Everyone look at me, me if you're not sure what we're doing. Like this. Like this. Like this, everyone. Good. Now, make sure that you have a long line from your outer arm all the way to the back of your hand. So try to make your wrist very straight. Okay? Now, we're just going to turn our wrists like they're on a diagonal. So we're turning our thumbs slightly toward one another, trying to keep that long line. Right. And then turn the opposite way so that the pinkies come toward one another. So you're just rotating your wrists and your forearms very slowly back and forth. And Natasha, put your arms by the sides of your body. Yeah. Feel like you're moving through resistance. You're not just like turning back and forth very loosely. Feel like you're turning in like molasses. Something is making it very difficult for you to turn. We're just doing these minute sort of wrist exercises to keep our arms healthy, our wrists healthy while we're working on our inversion practice. Okay, and now you can just let your hands rest on your body or out to the sides or like both close to one like that. What's the English translation of Viparita Karani? No? Good guess though. I talked about it Wednesday night in class. Who prepared Viparita Karani? Nobody? Yeah? The translation is inverted lake pose. So imagine your legs are like a waterfall. Imagine that all of the energy, the dynamic energy of your day, walking around the city, running around, taking trains, pouring downward, down the legs, and pulling into the space of the abdomen. Imagine your abdomen becomes softer as that happens. And then feel the back of your body supported by the floor, by the props. And allow all of that excess energy to release into the floor behind you. Feel that balance between sthira and sukha as you maintain the integrity of the posture, the legs up in the air, the rest of the body soft, supple. Transforming all of the day's activity now into potential, right, that we can reuse, rejuvenate, recharge, get up tomorrow and do it all over again. Okay, take your hands on the floor alongside your hips, or maybe onto your blanket. Lift your hips up and take your feet to the floor behind you like clouds. See if you can go to Chakrasana to get out of your Viparita Karani. Yeah, use your hands on the floor to help you. Maybe take your hands alongside your head if you have to. Yeah, see, give it a shot. If not, just come out, rolling to one side or something.
Keep your fingertips face your shoulders.
Yeah, like your arms are like you're going into Urdhva Dhanurasana.
It takes the pressure off your neck.
Leah, try taking your hands alongside yours and see if that helps you get over.
You want to live on
Natasha, you want to try it with your hands like that?
I think Chrissy and Jane would get it.
Yeah, try again. Give yourself a little.
Yeah. Keep the momentum. Keep the momentum. Keep the momentum of your hips. Such a gauge.
Nice to All right, everyone have 2 blankets for this next one. Open both of your blankets to this shape. Place the fringe towards put the blanket in the middle of your mat with the fringe facing the wall. And stack both blankets on top. Okay, and then you're going to take the end of your mat that's towards the center of the room and fold it over both of those blankets, like Leah has here. Right, and then just move your pad a little bit away from the wall so you have a little more space. Move the pad towards the center of the room. You're going to lay on the pad. Your shoulders are on the raised pad on the blanket, and your head is on hard floor. Okay, so we're just going to do Salamba Sarvasana in a way that's very, very spacious for the neck. It should allow you to stay in the posture for several minutes, several breaths. And be careful of any props or people that are right behind you. I think we're all staggered properly. I'm going to come into plow pose. Place the block behind you if you can't get your toes to the floor. And set yourself up so that you can feel your toes touching something. Okay. First, just clasp your hands together and draw your shoulder blades under your back. Turn your arms so that they move underneath your body. Yeah, set yourself up before you put your legs up. Okay, and then take your hands to your back. Draw your elbows together more. Before you lift your legs up, scoot your elbows together more. Yeah, then lift one leg at a time up in the air. You're not kicking up. Everything's very controlled. Christina, I think you should move a little bit more towards the center of the room.
Somewhere between where you were.
No, I mean your mat is fine. It's what your shoulders and mat.
Yeah.
So your neck is kind of draping more off. That's better. Okay, in this posture, you're moving towards Jalandhar Bandha automatically, right? You don't really have to make it happen. The posture itself allows you to access that upper lock. As much as you can, lifting your hips up. Yeah, trying to get one long line from your chin all the way to your toes. Stay calm, stay calm. Breathing through the nostrils, not moving the head or the neck in any way, just trying to stay very still. Okay, now kind of soften in your legs a bit so that you feel the weight of your legs drop down towards your arms. Right, just kind of letting a soft bend come into the knees and letting the femurs really drop into the hip sockets. So that it's not so much about moving upward, but rather about connecting into the earth in the posture. See if you can find that softness that creates more connection with the ground below you. press your heels toward the center of the room, toward the opposite wall. Feel the backs of your legs open. Bring your hands to the floor. Now walk your toes over to the left side. Try to keep the rest of your body right in the center. Just feel a stretch in the outer thigh. It's a really good way to loosen your leg muscles so that you can get into Padmasana, lotus pose. Walk them to the opposite side. Careful your knees or toes. Okay, come back to center. Place your hands on the floor and use them like brakes. Roll yourself down to the floor slowly. Try to keep your legs straight as you go. Feel every part of your back making contact with your blanket and your mat. And just bend your knees, bring your feet to the floor, undo your little pad, and set yourself up for Asana, fish pose. You can use your blocks if you like. Right? Medium block, you can use the shoulder blades, low block under the head, or maybe just one block underneath the shoulder blades to lift your chest. Or just do your Asana without the block. Do a posture like this to counter our shoulder stand. Find more space in that Vishuddha chakra, the throat chakra area. Both constricting and opening is a way to connect in with that center of communication. So if we feel like we're unable to say what we need or express ourselves, shoulder stand and push pose are a nice way If you'd like to level up the posture, you can raise your legs 45 degrees up off the mat, and then take your arms into prayer parallel with the angle of the legs, pointing at a diagonal upward. Coming out of that, release any blocks that are underneath you. Set up for bridge pose, Setu Bandha Setu Bandhasana. Bend your knees, feet in line with the hips. Inhale, lift your hips up. Clasp your hands behind your back, and again, just like we did in shoulder stand, roll the upper arms beneath you. Can you get one long line along the outer edge of your arms, all the way down to the wrists on the floor? Can you transition from Setu Bandhasana to Urdhva Dhanurasana without lowering your hips? See if you can make that transition, maybe coming onto the top of the head first. When you're ready to come down, tuck your chin to your chest, bend your elbows, lower upper middle and lower back to the floor. And then just windshield wiper the legs, side to side. Alright, bring the knees into the chest. Cross the right leg over the left, maybe tuck the right ankle behind the left ankle, and then bring those legs together down to the left side as you twist to the right. You can use your left hand on your legs to weigh them down. If your legs don't meet the floor, then maybe take a couple of folded blankets underneath the knees so that your legs actually connect to something.
Very good. On your inhale, coming back to the center. Untwist your legs, recenter yourself on your mat, hug your knees into your chest. Left thigh over the right, left ankle behind. And then the legs move to the right as you twist to the left. On your inhale, coming back to up center. Hug your knees into your chest, untwist them. Just start to rock back and forth on your spine, back and forth, back and forth. Rock yourself up to sit, facing the wall. And then move your mat towards the wall. We'll try a couple of handstands. Okay, we have a couple of different ways to practice our handstands. So let's just go through two options. Sit in Dandasana with your back against the wall and your legs forward, and then place a block wherever your feet are. So that's just a measure. So wherever you place your block, where your feet are, that's where your hands are going to go. And you're going to come into a 90-degree angle. Okay, just practice getting the arm strength, finding your bandhas. You can keep both feet on the wall, or you can lift one leg up. Up to you if you want to look at the wall or look at the floor. Maybe try both spots. Keep your elbows locked, not like hyperextending, but not bending in any way. So give yourself a few moments there, a couple of breaths, and then forward fold with your seat resting against the wall. Just a counter and come back to the ground. Hands are too far forward.
Everyone's hands are a little bit too far forward.
Yeah.
You need your
Jane, your hands are just come back.
palms right on your shoulders.
Step your hands back a little bit more. It's hard when you're in the right angle. Oh my God. Are you okay? Okay, good. Be controlled. Yeah. Move any blocks from out of front. Yeah, Jane, your hands still need to, or walk your feet down the wall. And that might have been right when your legs were higher, so I don't know. This is a lot of strength, so make sure you give yourself equal time to rest. Yeah, I think your hands can come back a little bit more. Wait, walk up? No. Yeah, that is good.
It's like really hard to do the inside.
Yeah, it is hard.
You rotate your arms or shoulder blades away from each other. Good.
So Gila, before you take your foot away from the wall, you have to walk your other foot down the wall. More down? Towards the wood,
Where the crease of the wall is, the wood paneling.
And put your other foot on the wall.
Yeah, the other.
turn to face the wall, come into a short downward facing dog, and we'll practice hopping up into handstand pose, and then try the other side. That's okay, you're bending your knee too much. You gotta keep that long leg strong. It's like a pendulum, like you're whipping it up there to take your whole body with your foot.
Just tap it with that straight leg.
And tap the toe to the floor, and
Tap
then
them all once.
keeping it long, bring it all the way up. Nice.
That's it.
Yeah, rest in child's pose. Don't overexert yourself, and you'll never get there. You have to keep giving yourself rest.
Take rest.
Keep giving yourself rest. Yeah, make sure you try both sides. The long leg, toe touches down, and for other knee bend, you hop off that bend. Yeah, good. Don't lead with your hips either. Don't let the hips open up. Nice. There you go. Okay. Next, we'll try hopping off of both feet, doing like a donkey kick, right? It's going to take a lot more fun to get up there. Woo! Okay. Try hopping off both feet.
Or just kicking your butt with your heels.
Give it a shot. It's fun. It's just for fun. Doesn't matter if you don't get up. Just try it. Kick your butt. Yeah. Just try kicking your butt first. Kick your butt. Lift your hips as you kick your butt, and then you'll go all the way up. Keep lifting your hips. Yeah. Nice, Natasha. Nice. Yeah. Kick your legs. Women kick ass. Nice very close today. Okay, come down and rest. Give yourself some rest. Let's just find hands and knees. We'll go for a couple of cat-cows to let your spine kind of neutralize. So with your breath, on your exhale, letting yourself completely empty around. On your inhale, arching, lifting up, just letting your neck open a little. Come to a neutral spine. On your inhale, raise your right arm. And on your exhale, feed it under your body. Walk your left arm forward, or take your left arm up to your back. Tuck your fingertips. Open through the shoulder. Don't let it reach down towards the floor. Then under your twist, take your hands alongside your face, and on your inhale, reach the arm up. On the exhale, come back to the floor. Inhale, left arm lifts. Exhale, take the arm underneath you. Onto your shoulder. And then however you'd like to set up your hands, maybe taking that half bind alongside your back. hand near your head. On your inhale, reaching your arm towards the sky. On the exhale, coming back down. And just come to lie on your belly, arms by your sides. On the inhale, press all 10 toes into the floor, lift the chest, Ardha Shalabhasana. The back of the neck long. Exhale, lower down. Shalabhasana, lifting the legs and the chest. Breathe. And exhale, lower down to the floor. Roll over onto your back. We'll have a few moments for final resting pose. Let your body settle into the floor. We did a lot of upside down, inverting, flipping our perspective. Let yourself back Let your awareness open up, welcoming all of the sounds, stimulus that appears in your conscious field of awareness. Gradually apply your senses closer to you. Your own body, your own breath. Finally moving inside, drawing all of the senses inward. Investigating the subtle aspects of your being. Holding your focus like a laser internally without losing the context. So that even as there's a creak in the floor or a noise from the heater outside this room, you won't be startled. Bright and aware, completely focused. Remember your intention. Draw your awareness back to your breath, beginning to deepen your breath. Allowing your breath to reanimate the physical body and then letting whatever movements feel natural and available to you now. Fingers, toes, neck, hands. As you breathe in, you can reach your arms above your head and the floor behind you. And as you exhale, you can bend your knees, drawing your knees in toward your chest. Roll to one side and pause there. And push to the feet. And in deeper. And press your hands into the floor to support yourself up to sit. Bring right and left hand together. together. Seven moon. Dan Panggilan. Down. Let your breath move through your body. On 3, chant the Om to seal an awesome practice. So much for your practice. Namaste. So what we're going to do for the rest of the time is to help each other in inversion so that we start to learn how we can assist our students to get into these types of postures. So we'll pair up and we'll just show you a few options for inversion sit. And it'll be really fun. Let's take a partner.
Someone need a bathroom break?
I need a Band-Aid. Is there a Band-Aid?
Is there a first aid in here? I think I saw one in one of the,
One of the cabinets.
Oh, yeah.
Rolling
Like topics like that.
How do you feel after all those inversions? Really nice. It's actually in the handstand, all those process makes sense. Like I remember when I was trying to handstand, like first couple of times in my blood spot, I didn't know these things. Now I feel like lighter and stronger. It makes sense, yeah. Awesome. Definitely like changes the distribution of weight in your body somehow, you know? Makes you more buoyant. That's the funny shit about it, that I don't have the same like spatial awareness. Like when you said my arms were out way too far, when we were doing dancing, I was like, hold on, I felt like I was really leaning forward or like, oh, I wonder what I really would. Yeah, that L shape is tough. It's hard to find that. And when you're perfectly up and down, it's a lot harder. Maybe that's how you get stronger. Yeah. Totally. Yeah. So what about you? So you can't figure
Did you
out
find it
how
where
you're supposed to do.
No, but I found a banana.
Where did you find it?
I brought the banana. So it's in my forearm, the inversions, I think.
scale?
It's in my forearm.
Right on.
Forearms.
So crazy, right?
Pretty vigorous.
How much weight should be in our forearms compared to our head?
At least there's something to
So
confirm
it's
that you do.
like kind of just touching the floor. And six.
Yeah, you actually should be able to like
Are you
lift
nuts?
your head away from the floor a little bit if you can. Really, because if you have too much weight in the head, then it starts compressing it here. The more you press your forearms down, the more space you feel all through your entire structure, and it's a little bit less.
And then gradually, the more familiar you get, you can start to put more weight into the head, and then work less with the arms. But it's so gradual. Like right now, just take it for as much weight as you can in the forearms.
Stand how like how much I can't figure out what anymore. I feel like it needs to be more of that side. Yeah, that's just like your core is not strong enough. The rest of me is very far away from being up there. Okay. Yeah.
You're finding the core right now in all your inversions, like in the headstand and stuff. That's what you're finding. When you get your headstand, you'll find exactly it.
Okay.
And that means you can't jump up and make it straight. You have to find the best way to find it is through bend knees. So just play there. Lifting one knee up, not too high, close to the chest, keep it close together. That'll show you where it is. And then when you're going down the toes, you know where it is. It tells you where your hips are. If you go past it, you don't find them. Like if you try and do the headstand before you go through that, you don't find them.
It's doing that needs to be the harder than putting one leg up, like trying to get
Oh,
my
other
other
part.
arm up.
Yeah.
So yeah, that means to me that I'm missing. So there's something else I'm missing that's much more than
Just that
my
leg.
second leg. Yeah.
Just that link. And so explore it, have fun finding it. It's hard initially, like the first time that you do it, you find that for the first time, it feels like, oh, it's so much work. But then after a few times, it's not just the first time finding it. After that. But your neck was so straight, your back was straight. It's a huge difference.
So much of that position.
Letting my mind, or taking my mind to a very, very nice place. Just like letting me really deep. My legs like jump up and leave early. It's just me.
Okay, could you want to bring your mat to the center of the room and I will assist you? We'll start with the headstand, the least chaotic assist. Nobody's about to get kicked in the face on this one. Alright, so Coco's just gonna come into her handstand, her headstand set up with her hands on the floor and her forearms arranged. Yeah, she's gonna put her crown of her head on the floor in front of her, okay? And then I'm gonna come behind her so she knows that I'm gonna support her, right? Coco, I'm right behind you. So rise up to down dog. Yeah. If you can't see, then just move yourself until you can see. I'm gonna place my hands at her hip creases so that her hips are straight up and down. I'm gonna take that one knee, yeah, holding her hip, and then bend the other knee in. Holding her hips and holding her hips and turning my head to the side. Okay, when you're ready, extend your legs up. Okay, so I'm holding her on her wall. Okay, I'm really like in contact with her body. Then I slowly move my hands up her leg until I feel her, right? If she's too wobbly, maybe I keep my hands here at her thigh. But she's strong, so I'm bringing them up to her ankles. Right? And then I'm just looking at her body. I'm going to say, hey, Coco, you can bring your
heels back towards me a little bit more. Yeah, that's it. Then I'm gonna put my fingertips on top of her heels if I know she can balance. And I'm just gonna be like a person that is making her think of her feet, even while her head is on the floor. Okay, when she's ready to come down, I'm gonna place my hands back at her hip creases to tell her this is where she's gonna hinge to come down. So hinge at your hips, you can bend your knees to come down. Move your head out of the way. Yeah, just like someone's forward folding, like you're showing them where they're supposed to fold. She comes to child's pose, so to child's pose, and then I give her the child's pose with this. Alright, does that sound like something we can all get with? Partner it up, and we'll make sure you're doing it.
I had so much my weight in my head.
Just keep going.
Just saying.
Stay in communication the whole time. It's very sure.
Yeah. When I was sharing that, it's very subtle when they're coming up here. Like you don't need to do much, and throw them off.
Yeah, don't be too grabby once their legs are up. Just kind of guide it.
I know. Very subtle. Just want me there to help them out. Subtle.
Yeah.
Bring your hips above your shoulders. Perfect. You gotta make sure you're strong in your feet. Make sure your feet are very grounded.
Okay, yeah, so are you ready?
Are you feeling far back? Good.
Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah.
Yeah, Hannah, you should step forward slightly because she's a little bit back with her.
Good?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
So I'm gonna bring your hands to her hip creases.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, let her come back down.
Okay.
Come back down.
Really work the spell.
Really good. Okay. Go into child's pose. So next time, Hannah, when you try, keep your hands at her hips the entire time until her
She's coming up.
Okay. You don't want to put your hands on their legs until their legs are open.
Yeah, I also.
Because then it's like you're pulling their side back, and that can be kind of like, whoa. Yeah.
You do.
I think you were on the wrong side.
Do you want to try it again?
We have such a much.
Yeah.
And they go back to you.
Yeah, you want to be like a wall. Exactly.
It's hardly any movement when the knees are in.
Now, one thing I would say about Hannah is that her elbows are really far apart. So before she lifts her legs up, I should say, you could bring your elbows a little bit closer together. She also looks like she's more on the front of her skull.
Don't be in such a rush. You're still working, but just explore that little part right there.
Yeah, so when you were saying the way ankles.
Natasha, send your hips
I think
forward
since
and your
I-
heels back.
The momentum of feeling like.
Yeah, that first step, you've got your hips so from where
What would you suggest? To find the strength.
Yeah.
Lighter.
bend one knee.
Yeah,
Use the chair. Let us push
Yeah.
down your toes. So transfer the weight. Yeah, take her down. Steady one knee. You rush. Bringing your talons.
I immediately felt like
like really strong.
I know, I'm not, I don't know why, it's not really like,
Yeah, you have to lay it here.
You know, there's four, like, so that's like the level I'm at. Like, I'm just,
Yeah, just do that.
yeah, that was the first time, even like when I got here, like, a stitch, I normally like,
it's just your skull.
so that's like,
Back and
I
up.
was like, man, it's like, yeah, you're like, really good. Like you're saying, like, palms is great, palms is great.
Yeah.
You, really, are you?
Actually, I don't know if I'm like sturdy.
Yeah.
Engage your navel.
yeah.
Yeah, you have to put front ribs in, Jess. There you go. There you go.
It's how far are you guys?
I know, like, I am.
Everyone's hand, like here.
Yeah.
Especially when.
And then you go back here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like,
Let her help you. Don't try hard, just transfer the weight. Don't go so fast.
Are you ready?
You're going like here, and then we hang out there.
A little bit cross-section, I feel like.
Now you go up,
I think that's just my mom.
your thighs together. Yeah.
That's
Take the ears to your heart here.
Like you're I do this why. Like I felt like if you stepped away, it would have
I did
over.
Oh my God.
Not so fast.
Yeah. But I couldn't figure out what was like it's weird. It's definitely something in my face.
Oh, right there.
Yeah, because you were close.
I didn't know.
Okay, so I have to do it more slow. Yeah.
When I was went up, I kind of felt. So, up here and.
Yeah.
So for a little bit longer until you're kind of like. Interesting.
Can I try again?
I think maybe, yeah, like hands are
This is like, sounds great. Yeah, figuring out where to be and how this being helpful, like,
Close
making you feel
standing.
right, works.
Close
Yeah.
to your body.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, fine. Yeah, but hands
So-
are like,
so-
is really.
So I do get really-
So I don't need to
Yeah.
Yeah, I. Oh, look at it again.
It's okay, you can just hold it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, be like,
Yeah.
I don't know why that.
Wait,
It was
wait,
like,
wait,
like,
wait,
Does that feel more?
Yeah, that's really-
It's using new.
Yeah, it feels very much.
a lot.
So it's like, and also, if we're gonna go just switch.
If she could got that, start to take your chest up from it.
How are you feeling? Sturdy?
Good, yeah.
Be very subtle.
It's like you're a little far back.
Putting your
Yeah.
arms on top of the blanket.
The arms go under.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe even to the top. So you
If
feel
you wanna
part of
come
it.
down.
So your hands on the top.
You like the cushion?
Yeah.
I guess I've done it both ways.
I like the
I just like to run it.
Well, right. Like, that's hard.
Guide her.
This one. Yeah, I remember.
Lay down.
Yeah.
And you're gonna go with her.
Okay, just like with my hands up.
Yeah, like that's so really nice seeing a lighter sturdy in a way that you're
Yeah, now I
comfortable, maybe without being so like.
Yeah.
I like the information, so she can be lifting her heels up.
Coming down.
So kind of
Yeah.
right here.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's
good.
Yeah.
That's
good. Like that.
Yeah.
Having a little bit extra light and finding a home.
The brushing was very nice, like the light touch.
Like the,
Yes.
just shift that, yeah.
Good.
So now Christina's gonna put her hands on your hip creases
and support you to do a pike down. So you're gonna keep your legs long, and you're just gonna hinge at your hips very slowly to come down with your feet to the floor.
Okay.
Pull Mula Bandha and Uddiyana Bandha in. Yep, your hips will go towards your cement and your toes will keep
Oh, that was great, right? We didn't do it right. Like the whole way down. Yeah.
All right, how do you guys feel about those? Let's go around. Natasha and Jane first. Okay, we're child. How do you feel? Yeah, you feel different.
Yeah, a little more weight down. Yeah.
Natasha and Jane, go ahead.
I was forced to think about where my hips were when I was.
Stop talking to me, please. Go ahead.
I was forced to think about where my hips were, which was nice, and think more about alignment instead of just getting high. Which is what I think about when I hit the wall, just getting up.
Great.
I think that's what it's coming from that.
Yeah, it felt really easy to go up. And I had some trouble finding like where in the hip crease is like the right place to grab. It felt very easy on the way down. But like when somebody's bent over, it's kind of hard for me to like figure out like where to grab them. So we kind of played around with that.
Yeah, that's what this is for, just so you can touch people and be like, don't think I'm weird, find where to touch you.
the right place.
But once you find it, it's beautiful, right? It's like the perfect little bone part. It's like handles.
Yes. You get there, you get more comfortable. Jessica and Hannah.
We were noticing that as the person who was doing the headstand, that having the assist sometimes almost felt like it brought us a little bit off course, like felt more imbalanced as I was going up in the headstand. It was just a different affirmation.
Totally, and that's also why we practice, because sometimes when you're, especially with balancing and inversion poses, when you're touching people a lot, it can feel like, oh, I don't know what to do, this person's like throwing me off. So you have to find the right mix of support and backing off. And that's why you continuously talk to the person that's going up, so that you are gauging it along the way.
Especially in here, because we're all learning. Like, where's the right place? Oh, you got me back too far. Oh, I can't find it. Bring me back a little forward. Like, so you both work together. You can really benefit from the feedback in here.
I thought it was helpful after, or it was better if we found our base sort of on our own, and then to have the assist once we had like a firm foundation, but trying to just go right into the assist.
Really important point about assist. Let them find the posture first on their own before you go in there. They have to find their foundation, and then you have to work with their foundation. Because it's so easy to take them off.
Yeah, this is actually an assist for someone who's like not really going up yet. You're like helping them to have agency, to like feel powerful to do that. So, you know, if you already have a headstand posture, you don't really want an assist that much, because you're like, you know, I got it. But this is gonna be for the person who's like not there at all yet, you know? Now they're gonna feel it, and you're gonna be there to support them. Mila and Jean.
I have a headstand, but Jenny's assist helped me to actually like go even higher and to really like stretch myself up. And it's like hands on the heels. It was amazing. I felt flying so I'm like, nice.
And that's a really good assist. When you're not in the way and they can find something that they didn't know before, you help them go further than they knew. That's a good assist.
Yeah, we got up twice. Yeah, she had her work cut out for her. But yeah, I mean, she did a really good job in helping me feel supported and bring my needs up. And then we did, the second time we did finally get my lips up, right? Yeah. And that was also, I did feel like the first time when Jenny's spine was a little heavy, it was almost like she was trying to roll forward instead of standing on the head and going up. And then Coco helped us to like align more. I could feel the difference in her body, like one is strength and more like core strength versus that like more relaxed.
What was your emotional experience compared to other times you tried to do headstand without support?
Well, I've been really enjoying it because I'm getting to be like scared, so all together, even any of the versions we were doing, I was saying to me, I was like, I am sticking my legs with me, I wasn't afraid about smashing my face, that's the first for me. So, but it was good because even, it was scary enough that I didn't feel like I was just being lifted into it. And so it was causing me to like really pay attention to how everything was firing, but safe enough that I wasn't afraid I was gonna hurt myself.
You had the right amount of challenge and the right amount of support. You weren't bored, but you also were not,
I was like, I'm gonna smash my neck.
You weren't bored, but you also weren't overwhelmed, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes if you've been in a class where the teacher's throwing out all these crazy postures and you get to a point where you're like, okay, I can't do any of this stuff, right? And it starts getting like annoying if you're like in a class that's too advanced for you, right? And if you're in a class that's too easy for you and you wanted a bit of a challenge, then it's sort of like, this is not great. So that's what we're trying to bring our students to, the right mix of challenge, but also not so hard that they're just like, forget about it, throwing hands out.
I want you guys to think a little when you're working today, especially about the UPAs and what cues you're going to give and in what order. Because with those, when you understand, the foundation is set, what are their forearms doing? What are the upper arms? What's happening in the back? How do you lengthen? How do you apply the glutes to lengthen the neck? You want to be able to cue all those things, like verbally, in that order of UPAs.
What are UPAs?
Universal principles of alignment,
Oh,
those 5,
okay.
and then the loops and the internal and external. You want to start to figure out exactly what's happening, because even if it's a pose that you can't do, if you understand those UPAs and how they work, the internal rotation, the external, you can guide anyone in a posture, even if it's something you can't do yet. If you understand those well. So in these postures that we do today, I want you to really look at what's happening, what are you doing? Because then you're going to need to communicate it to somebody else. How to find those things, how to engage muscular energy, what's rotating out, what's rotating in, where's the vocal point, how's the skull engaged, how do the shoulders drop when you're upside down for a shoulder loop, how do you bring the bottom of the rib cage to the hip bones and the hip bones to the rib cage, because you'll find sway back and banana backs and those sorts of things. How do you gauge internal and external rotation of the legs to get them lined up right up? Right, bone on top of bone. Okay. Because you're gonna have to teach tomorrow.
How was your experience?
Well, there were some things similar to what Jessica and Hannah said. At first, the assist felt too much, and then we talked about it, and Christy just assisted in a different way. It was much more subtle, and it had to do with sort of emotion in the heels, and it was really nice. It was like exactly what I needed. So it was great. Yeah.
I only have a headstand practice against the wall, so I always get a little bit nervous doing it in the middle of the room. So this was helpful. The first time I tried to go up, I definitely went flying in the other direction. But then the second time I was like, okay, I see just kind of like do it slowly from the core, and like my legs were up, and Leah helped me kind of like, cause in shoulder stand you can see if your legs are straight, but I don't know, like it feels like they're straight, but she said you can move them back. So I was just kind of slowly getting aligned. I'm like, oh yeah, that's what it feels like to be aligned once I got there.
Yeah, it's interesting. A lot of people, when they go up in headstand, their heels don't go all the way to a straight line. Like it's like, because when you go that like 2 more inches, it starts feeling really scary when you get to like the straightness. And there's something that happens for me where all of a sudden my like hip flexors feel like they open up a little bit, and then I get this like feeling of like, whoa, and it's like a little bit scary. So I think, I love having the assist to really like hone in and make it the perfect line. It's very cool.
Sometimes in tripod headstand, I feel like that fear kicks in sooner in tripod heads in. Like I just want to protect more and like
You
not.
have this less of a base for support in it. Your forearm, you have such a big base, and tripod is just 1, 2, 3. So you're not gonna have to be more on point.
Especially if somebody's 3 feet over here.
Let's do the shoulder stand assist. It's pretty easy. It takes a little bit of strength to do it. So Coco, come into shoulder stand. So this is one that you do like after they're in the pose, okay? So what the purpose of this is just to get their elbows more under their body so that they are more supported. So you come behind their leg, you hold on to their ankles, right? You step on the outer sides of their elbows. Lift their ankles up and then nudge their elbows closer together as you're lifting their ankles up, okay? And then you kind of just gradually move away. How does that feel, Coco?
Yeah, right on.
Right on. And that's it. It's just like a go in there, get them like in a more optimal alignment, and then get out of there.
Because most people's elbows want to splay out here.
That's what you really looking at. That's it.
Can I ask you, is there a trick when you're getting into it to bring your elbows closer together? Like, is there something you can do?
Well, that's why I really like to spend time in plow pose first. So while your toes are on the ground, you can like shimmy your body into position as good as you can.
Yeah.
It's easier with your toes on the ground to do that.
Yeah.
Once your legs are up, you really shouldn't be shifting a lot, right?
Right.
So when you go in to help them, make sure you're lifting their ankles straight up, okay? And you're not gonna lift them off the ground. It's just enough so that you can give them a little bit more space to get their elbows underneath them, okay?
One of the poses I've been struggling with in the Ashtanga series is then going into locust without hands. Are we gonna do, can we do any work on that?
I don't do that pose, so Coco's gonna have to teach us how to help people in that pose.
Use your hands.
Yeah. Let's do this one first, and then we'll go for that one, okay? Tomorrow.
You mean clasp around?
Yeah.
What is the hard part? Am I finding you that way?
Was there close to that today?
You really like
Yeah.
balance.
Like a,
Yeah. Would you like to build this on a blanket? Yeah. Just imagine.
It's actually a little bit more difficult to do on the blanket.
I feel like you're.
Yeah, so you want to place your feet and your hands before you lift them, and then lift them, and do it pretty quickly. Just bend your knees.
Is that too much? No, it's great.
Yeah.
Your arms are really nice and thorough. I mean, I'm just gonna say.
And you can tell it too, and your elbows together.
Your elbows in it.
You should go.
That's awesome.
That's right.
Yeah.
As long as they're
Lift your shoulder, get your elbows actually.
Yeah, like you say, it's the muscle.
My shoulders are so tight.
Yeah, when you lift your up.
Your elbows in.
Definitely.
And then communicate.
I noticed it when I get up to
So you're
like,
just the
Shoulders down.
It does go, work out to get the shoulders. Doesn't feel like it naturally, it's great, it's good for them a lot.
Yeah. How does that feel so far?
Good.
Is that like 15 years?
No, if you lift a little more for like, yeah, just like.
Is that giving you some space?
Yeah, so just
Mhm.
scoot your feet
How do I,
towards each
how do my
other.
ankles, how, or excuse me, how do I?
Can you flex your feet?
Yeah.
Maybe that one.
I like flex feet.
How, are my elbows parallel to each other? Do? Yeah, do, parallel, okay.
Sorry.
No, it's not you.
I don't think they went all the way.
Don't turn your head
down.
You
I think they went out just about half
Did you change partners?
of the distance from where they started from.
Oh, that's good, because it feels like there's like, right back up.
So you start to see that you have to listen and you have to kind of hear where they are, right? To know how much that you can lift and where you can, like, what's too much, how much they let you go, not going past their body says they can go.
You can release your shoulders toward the floor, Janine. Keep going down. There you go. How'd you like? Feedback? Comments?
That's good. Felt easy, felt nice, felt like,
To give the assist or to receive?
oh,
Oh, okay, great.
yeah, yeah. I think, I definitely notice that one all the time, like, when you're out there, you're like, oh, I want to go more.
Yeah, it's like, even if the shoulder stand is really good, this one is just a nice little extra boost to kind of feel like, yeah, now I'm powered up.
Yeah,
I definitely
okay.
felt the lift a little bit too. It was like a nice stretch in the low back area. It felt like.
Yeah, it's kind of like tractioning the spine a little bit here. Okay, how's that? That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was super effective. I could really feel the difference when I was receiving it, and it was also really straightforward to give.
Okay, we're gonna do handstand. You have to be really careful with handstand. I've only been given the pace twice. Rookie teacher mistake. It's basically like, when after someone has like done it at the wall and actually has the strength to kick up, it's like getting them to try it, without the wall. It's like the next step, right? So, Coco's gonna come into downward facing dog. Okay, and just remember the instruction where it said, one leg stay straight, the leg that you lift stay straight, and you hop off the other leg, that's the knee that bends, okay? So just lift one leg, and that leg's gonna stay straight. Okay, I'm just gonna come here and just support her leg, right? I'm gonna hold actually her thigh and her ankle, okay? Then she's gonna hop off of the other leg. So hop off the other one, yep. And then I'd like to go higher, but yep. And she's just gonna lift that leg up, and I'm gonna bring this leg to meet it and stand behind her. Okay, so I'm just holding her ankles up. Right, this isn't one where you really wanna give your whole body. Okay, and she's pressing her hands into the floor, her elbows are straight, she's drawing her lower belly in, Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha. Now I can just put my hands in between her legs, yeah. I'm gonna put my fist in between her thighs and say, hug my fist with your thigh. Yeah, I'm gonna just touch her heels for a moment. Good? All right, and then I'm gonna just come behind her, hold her hips, and bend your hips to come down. Go to down. Okay? So this one's a little
You kind of dancing with it. So the leg that's lifted, you're just holding that where it is. It's just staying where it is, and they're hopping off the other leg to bring it up towards handstand. And then you're meeting the leg that they independently raise up into the air with the other leg and turning from the side to the back. So you start on the side so you don't get kicked in the face, and then you move to the back toward them once they're all the way up. Okay, this is just one option. We have other options too, but let's try that one.
You mean other ways to assist handstand?
Yes, there's many ways to assist. Okay, Jay. So you're gonna stand on the side with the leg that they lift up.
Okay, so
Yeah.
do you have a?
Sure does.
So what do you mean? Do you have a partner you're gonna
So
like?
I'll walk you through it. Everyone come to down. We're gonna do it together, right? Okay? So everyone who's getting the assist, come into downward facing dog. Everyone who's giving the assist, stand on the side of your person. Okay, whatever side your assister is standing on, lift that leg up. Okay, assister, hold ankle and under thigh. Okay, good. And now they're just gonna hop off the other leg and you're gonna stabilize them. Keep that leg. Okay, there you go. And then hop around to the back, Natasha. Hop around to the back. Hold your legs as you walk around to the back. You want to hug your legs, Natasha. Hug your legs.
Do you want to do the other side?
Oh, no, that's like.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
like I was gonna lose you.
I wanted to do that.
You were on the side. Were you?
Yeah, but it's supposed to go to the other side, because I kind of.
Now you want to walk around to the back.
Okay.
But,
Okay.
Okay, you have to get to the back of them. You can't assist them standing in front of their chest in handstand. Natasha, you're done. You didn't transition to the back. You transition to the front. Right? You don't need to push her leg really up there more. You just get to the back so that she can meet both sides.
I have no like.
She'll do the work.
Good.
One leg up to the top. Now switch it back, Natasha, switch it back. She feels like
And then the other way you can. Right. Unless you want to get down into the rest of the knees. Yeah, I try to do those things.
Yeah, so you can.
I usually try to do like reverse side first.
Okay, so.
There you go. Yeah, just a quick scoot. Just a quick scoot. Don't worry about touching my leg that's going up. Only worry about your leg.
Okay.
I'm trying to grab the Don't worry, this person's confusing and awkward. Don't
Okay, I think that felt better.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the time was fine.
Straight
I caught my. I'll
Just
check.
tell me. Keep looking.
And then.
Just make that.
Okay, your shoulder blades out.
Under the thigh.
On the back.
One leg down. Keep breathing.
I'm just my leg.
So you just hold the leg that you were holding.
I wonder if like,
Lifting the other leg up.
and I didn't have any idea. Maybe if I take this like further back, and then I can sort of together.
Yeah.
That way, I'm more like so into it, 'cause I don't think I would strangle it, go all the way.
Yeah.
And then it's just.
Pick out with your right.
You want me to try it again?
Hold the side and get to the back.
Okay, not like drop.
Yeah, you wanna like basically get your head out of the way. So you don't
Yeah, because this one comes up a lot higher.
This side is out. Like that.
Sorry, I know it's kind of color, but.
It's actually maybe just try to So left your left leg up, right? And kick it out with your right leg. So actually, arms are towards each other. Beautiful. Okay, so who's your that leg up? You don't need to touch that leg until you get behind it. Okay.
So let her get that leg up.
Keep holding on to the leg forward, so you're not getting
Generally do. Yes, I'll wait till that.
Yeah.
Raise your legs. Nice. Really nice. And say press into your elevating.
Come down with the same like you.
Don't bend your elbows when you're going up in the handstand.
That's great.
So if you're gonna hold one leg.
Yeah, I know, like, we try that little leg down.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm like grabbing it.
No, because
I'm like, yeah. It's like thighs instead of like the arm.
Yeah.
It'll be hard for you. Yeah.
And then again,
Yeah.
One arm.
Maybe we're gonna come down, I don't wanna.
Okay. Squeeze.
Good?
To come down, yeah.
What did I do?
Squeeze your hands.
I'm really picturing part of this work you have to do.
One leg down. That's like really good.
But if you feel like I could have lower.
So you have to find your, but you want to come down.
Come down.
So,
Like fathers, like really cool with the body, so it's at the hips.
I think so much.
And then it's do you want to try to let it down?
In that room.
You can say,
Right, I've already had that, because most of the time, when nobody's gonna get me up to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys maybe
So.
okay, finish up last one, and then let's get into a circle.
Nice strong arms like that, right fingers. Good. Can't see you. Yes. Meet your leg, come up.
Fantastic, thank you
Pull
so
across,
much.
come down. If you bend your elbows, it's gonna be hard to avoid it. So they have to be like
So some practices, things like 4 minutes or something.
Yeah.
But also I want to learn train the light struggling. Only a little bit tilted probably, but.
So you got
Don't bend back there. Yeah. Something like that.
So you have a lifetime supply.
I'm 5 feet.
High as you can.
Yeah.
Because we go to these conferences and like nobody's showing up to their conferences.
So I'm going with like tons.
Oh, right. I feel silent. I feel like that.
Like I love people.
You're learning
Like,
this part.
down here.
So that's what challenges you to keep that. Once you're up there, it's easier. Once you're ready here.
Yes, Janine? Yeah.
I got a great photo of you from last week.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should put your number in my phone.
Oh, okay. Same thing I saw at your dog, where I was like, keep your chest toward your back. Yeah, that's right, back here.
I was even pro on that.
Yeah, there's like beautiful light hitting shadows. She cares a lot.
Oh, wow. Wait. Make sure you finish that. Here's my arm.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
love this construction.
And then you keep having them lift up towards the ceiling. All right, how was that, everyone? Interesting. Christina, how you the list? Jane and Natasha had an interesting experience.
I was just saying that was cool. That's all I had to say.
Good. Yeah. So Natasha, what was your experience with music?
I found it really hard to give the assist for this one. I don't know if it's like the size difference between us.
When you switched to Hannah, was the day were you able to do it?
But she also has a handstand practice. So that also changed the experience.
Right.
Yeah, it was very challenging to it was okay to get her legs and my arms and ask her to kick up, but then it was difficult to go around on the other side and then hold her feet up and actually give her the assist. So yeah, that was that.
Yeah, Jane, how was that for you?
It was super easy with Natasha.
It was easy to give it to Natasha.
Yeah. And yeah, I guess like when Natasha was giving it to me, I didn't really know that maybe I wasn't making it so easy because my legs weren't going right up, but I didn't have like I don't know what's going on. And then with Jess, it was really hard as well. So like I could do it with Natasha, but then with Jess, yeah, like
You mean giving Jess the assist?
Yeah.
This is more difficult?
getting around, and then like I felt really like my hands sort of ended up at her feet, but I felt like they needed to be down lower to help stabilize, and I couldn't really like transition. So that was challenging.
Sure.
Yeah, so I don't know what the solve for that is, but I would have rather been like a little bit lower and then.
For that, you could also move your body closer to their body, and then your whole body is supporting them, so then you can kind of transition your hands to a different place. If you feel like they're really wobbly, that might be a way.
We ended up with like her back was bending too much, so it was like.
Yeah.
It's not a good.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
This one is challenging.
Yeah.
It's difficult to help people that are kicking up in the air and who are unstable on their hands, right? This is going to be a challenge. So, maybe this is the one you try to do in a public class, right? This is what we practice with our teacher friends until we feel really adept at getting in there.
This is really an assist you would give to somebody who's proficient at the wall.
Yeah.
And they're ready to take it to the center. Like they're able to hop up, but they can't hit the center. They're able to hop up, but they can't hold it. This is for that student. They're ready to have an assist and stand by themselves. Otherwise, it's really learning, because the person you're assisting has to have their foundation really set, which means straight elbows, they can't break, they have to have this down. You know, they have to learn to get their hips over their shoulders, which you get in that L shape. That helps you find the hips. So you can bring your legs and stack the bones over the shoulders, over the wrists, into the hands. So they have to have that really before if you're picking like who you're gonna do this, they have to have that. They have to be comfortable being upside down and hold that and know how to engage the abdominals. Otherwise, it's a lot of work. And you can eventually, you can almost help somebody who's not proficient at the wall, but they have the strong arms, just because you know where to hold them, because you would need to get their pelvis when her body goes banana shaped. You kind of have to get in here to help compensate the belly out and the legs over and bring those in and that back up. But great start to find out, like, oh, well, how fast do I have to go? And is this right for this student? You know, are they able to hold it enough that you can get in there?
Remember when we did the L shape with our hands and our legs, both legs on the wall, and then we just lifted one leg up? So basically, you're the wall for that person, right? Instead of their foot on the wall, you're holding that leg like it's on the wall. And so that they can just lift the other leg up, and then you're training.
Yeah, they would really have to get this before they came at the center with your assist.
So that's the thing. If their leg isn't really getting fully up, you have to tell them, lift that leg more, and then transition behind them. Otherwise, you're like trying to lift them up. But that's not really what you want to do with the assist, right? You're not trying to get them to the pose, you're just trying to support them in the pose. Okay? We'll play with it more, don't worry. Christina and Leah?
I mean, I could feel a real difference between when you did a handstand and your focus was in your legs, not your core. And then we talked about it and then your focus was in your core and it just felt like a world of difference for assisting.
Yeah, like I'm not giving all my weight into your hand. Yeah, I felt the difference in myself too when I was kind of like lifting the torso up, like lifting up here. And yeah, I see how when I'm assisting, how you have to kind of wait until that other leg comes up. It felt like a lot heavier and like almost like I was throwing her off balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't really push someone to get there.
Yeah.
Then they'll be like, what's going on? They'll freak out a little bit.
With the assist, I could focus on internally rotating my thighs, which I generally don't do. So that felt new. So,
Great.
yay.
Awesome.
I need to think that's the best one.
Janine, Mila.
I found it was difficult to give an assist, but it was my first handstand, not by the wall, thanks to assistance. So it was really helpful.
Yeah, you find you do have the strength. You have the strength to do it. Now it's finding the balance and what has to engage to hold it, to stabilize you there. Yeah. The wonderful things about assist. Yeah, it's so great. Good assist.
Yeah, I mean, I learned to make work more on my foundation now, and I realized that when I get at the wall, I probably don't bring my shoulders out over my wrist, because when we did, I felt like I was a tree blowing in a hurricane. And I was like, oh, that's very different from where I thought I would be. So it made me realize that now I want to go back and work on pushing myself even more forward to make sure that I'm at that angle.
Yeah.
To really establish that, yeah.
Yeah, it's really helpful for your students' proprioception, like where they are in space. They start to get more of an awareness, because when they're just doing an inversion with their legs in the air, there's no feedback, right? It's very kind of confusing, you know? So if you're there to say, oh, you have to extend this leg straight up, or just like feel where my hands are, this is where you're hinging from, you know, just kind of like, all of a sudden something new opens up in their mind, right? And so I feel like all of you had that experience, you know, just by trying this in a different way tonight.
I was wondering if there's a way when you're helping them get out of the pose to, if it's okay, then to sort of use your body more. Like I almost felt like when I was ready to help her down, it was like, okay, because I'm still
Yeah, you can step in at that point and like put your legs against their back and hold on to their hip creases the same way they come out of the headstand, like you're a little bit closer to them. If you felt like that would be helpful to them, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's easier to come down one leg at a time than both legs. Is a lot more challenging to have them come down together. And I really like when I'm doing this assist to teach them that the floor is right there. Because it's such a freak out to be upside down, to have them put one leg down, touch the floor, so they know that they can get out anytime on their own, and you can kind of get out of the way. So just, yeah. And then learning how much here. You want to do as least amount of work possible.
Yeah, you don't want to really be like, here's your hips. Like, if you can just do a couple fingers, just so they know, like,
to find the fulcrum, help them find the fulcrum. Because it's hard to get such a in and up in the belly to lower down that way with control. So a good assist can kind of help them, like, here it is, here it is, gives them the time to develop that strength and find it. Where it's harder to do without.
Yeah, I did feel like my hands maybe were getting a little bit like in the way of.
Yeah, because if you're holding too much and they're trying to come down, you might be like blocking them from actually lowering toward the floor. So you want to have that right amount of like just a suggestion.
Is there any other kind of handstand assist where it is more like you're actually helping someone get into the handstand, or is it really that the person has to be already at the level of doing the L shape with one leg up on the wall before you can really assist them, right?
Yeah, I can feel the progression of starting at an L.
Yeah.
Because they have that support and they build the strength and they can feel their hips right over the shoulders and the shoulders right over the wrists. They can find that appropriate section. I start there and holding one leg up, changing legs. When someone's comfortable there, I have them face the wall and just get into like tapping, like hopping up and tapping, and then holding both legs up. And then switching legs and we tap. Just touch the wall. It's there. I'm not going to fall over. It's there. And then once they can hold both up, I'll have them start to jump with both legs up and develop the strength to kick up. So not one leg, but both legs.
Yeah.
Lifting up. How to find that. And then just building the strength so like 30 seconds at long.
I'll show you one more. Do you have time? We don't have time to practice. We'll just show you.
Okay. And then once they have that, I'll have them try and flush their back against the wall, like once they can get up easily and be one straight board. And then once they can hang up that, where like the whole back of the body is against the wall. It's just progression. Yeah. I'll have them spin around and have the whole front on the wall. Just building strength and finding like, there's a lot, we should do hollow backs tomorrow too. Develop the strength, because a lot of this is feeling. You're doing this in handstand. This is all like rock, like a rock in there.
Okay, down dog. All right, we're gonna try something new. All right, kick your leg up. Which one? One leg up. All right, okay, left leg up. You said that, baby. I'm too close. Right? Yeah. Left leg. Okay, bend your knees over my shoulders. Okay, I'm gonna bend my back and let you have a little back bend. Whoa. Hands are gonna come up the floor. Really opening up my lower back a lot. Now we're gonna put your feet on the floor. Whoa.
I wish I had choreographed that.
Let's do it again. I need to practice a little. I just remembered that one. You can play with that.
You know what else you need to do? You do?
I think I need to lift my hips up more. Oh yeah, you like let's do it.
We'll do some of this. We're going to do this if we get away out of town. We'll do some harder stuff.
Coco and me are yoga partner champions. We go to ecstatic dance to do yoga partner. Alrighty, let's close out. That's it, guys. Hope you had fun. I'd like to do more handstand assists tomorrow.
You know, if you keep doing it, build the strength and it's just
Fun, what you say, Hannah?
Mm-hmm.
If you go to Nicaragua with Coco, you'll do a lot of partner yoga. So.
I think if you go away, I'll come back that.
Yeah, our retreat.
Yeah, do a partner event.
Do a little meditation to close. Let's just do our dedication. So, give thanks to all the teachers who have passed down this beautiful wisdom and these amazing techniques, this sacred technology, so that we may use it to brighten our lives and the lives of everyone else that we come into contact with. Thank you so much for stepping up to teach this amazing body of knowledge. You all kick ass. Namaste. Yay! Good job, everybody. See you in the morning. See you in the morning. Getting stronger and stronger.
Oh, that's nice. I was like, right, I'm
And then you're possibly increases like something unconscious. I've really done it. Yeah, I don't know what to do. But you know, you're right, you're holding your body completely different. It makes it beautiful.